Look at them all, standing there with their matches and smiles, thinking they knew exactly how to break you. Maybe they did, at first. They knew where to strike, where it would hurt the most. But here's what they got wrong. They thought pain would destroy you. Instead, it taught you how to be stronger. Every hit that should have knocked you down became a reason to stand up taller. Life has a funny way of showing us who people really are. When times got tough, you saw the truth behind their fake smiles and empty words. The same people who swore they had your back were the first ones holding those matches. But instead of letting that knowledge break you, you used it to set yourself free. After all, once you know who's really on your side, you stop wasting time trying to please those who aren't. Pain changes you. There's no way around that truth. But you get to choose how it changes you. They wanted it to make you smaller, quieter, easier to control. What they didn't expect was for you to use that pain like fuel, turning every attempt to hurt you into a reason to grow stronger. You didn't just survive. You turned their weapon against them by refusing to become what they wanted. Another broken soul, too scared to try again. Think back to when they first started their little game. Remember how they watched, waiting for you to crumble. But with every new flame they lit, you learned something valuable. Strength isn't about not feeling pain. It's about keeping going even when it hurts. You turned their test of destruction into your trial by fire, proving not just to them, but to yourself, that you're made of stronger stuff than they imagined. Everything looks different once you've faced your fears head on. The world gets clearer, like someone wiped dust from your eyes. You start to see how the same fire meant to destroy you can light your way forward. Those scars they gave you, they're not ugly marks of defeat. They're proof that you can take whatever life throws at you and keep moving forward. Sometimes the best lessons come from our worst moments. While they were busy trying to tear you down, you were quietly building yourself up. Every insult became a brick in your foundation. Every betrayal taught you how to stand on your own. They thought they were destroying you, but really, they were helping you discover just how strong you could be. The quietest victories are often the most powerful. It's not about screaming your success from rooftops. It's about that moment when you realize their opinion of you doesn't matter anymore. That's true freedom. You stopped trying to prove them wrong and started focusing on proving yourself right. That's when everything changed. Here's what makes your story different. You never aimed to get even. While they were busy plotting your downfall, you were planning your rise. Not out of hatred or revenge, but because you finally understood that the best way past pain is through it. You didn't let their fire destroy you. You let it refine you. The real power isn't in avoiding hard times. It's in learning how to use them. Every time they pushed you down, you learned a new way to get back up. Every time they tried to dim your light, you learned to shine brighter. That's not just surviving. That's turning their tactics into your stepping stones. Stand here now and look back at how far you've come. You're not the same person they tried to break. You're something better, stronger, wiser. Not because of what they did to you, but because of what you chose to do with it. They tried to write your story for you, but you grabbed the pen and wrote it yourself. That's not just a victory. That's a revolution. The human mind is always searching, always trying to make sense of things that don't make sense. Why did this happen to me? You ask yourself at night, what did I do to deserve this? These questions echo in empty rooms, bounce off blank walls, and come back to you unanswered. People spend their whole lives looking for reasons, digging through their memories like old boxes in an attic, hoping to find that one moment that explains everything. But here's the truth that nobody wants to hear. Sometimes bad things happen for no reason at all. Rain falls on good people, and bad people just the same. Lightning doesn't check your resume before it strikes. The universe doesn't read your diary before deciding what happens next. You can be the kindest person in the world, help old ladies cross the street, rescue stray cats, and still wake up one day to find your whole world burning down around you. That's what makes it so hard to accept, the complete randomness of it all. Somewhere along the way, we got this idea that life should be fair. Maybe it was all those children's stories where good always wins and bad guys always lose. Maybe it was all those movies where everything works out in the end. But life isn't a story with a neat ending, where everything makes sense. It's messy, random, and sometimes cruel, for no reason at all. The sooner you understand this, the sooner you can stop wasting time looking for answers that don't exist. Deep down in our bones, we hate this truth. We'd rather believe we did something wrong than accept that sometimes things just happen. Because if things just happen, then we're not in control. And that scares us more than any monster under the bed ever could. We'd rather blame ourselves than face the fact that sometimes life just throws you into the deep end without asking if you can swim. Every day, people walk into hospitals and get news that changes their lives forever. Cars crash, jobs end, people leave. And in all these moments, the first thing we do is ask, why? We think if we can just figure out the reason, we can stop it from happening again. We think understanding will somehow make it hurt less. But sometimes, there is no reason. Sometimes life just happens, like waves hitting the shore, not because the shore deserved it, but because that's what waves do. Watch how children react when something unfair happens. They stamp their feet and cry, but it's not fair. And they're right. It's not fair. But somewhere along the way to growing up, we're supposed to accept this. We're supposed to smile and nod and say, that's life, like it explains everything. Like randomness is somehow easier to swallow if we give it a name and pretend it makes sense. The truth sits like a stone in your stomach. Bad things can happen to anyone, at any time, for no reason at all. Good people suffer. Bad people prosper. Hard work doesn't always pay off. Loyalty doesn't guarantee anything. Love doesn't conquer all. These aren't pretty truths, but they're truths all the same. And understanding them doesn't make you cynical. It makes you ready. When you stop looking for reasons, something strange happens. You start seeing things more clearly. You stop wasting energy trying to make sense of senseless things. You stop blaming yourself for random bad luck. You stop thinking that every good thing that happens to you is something you have to earn, and every bad thing is something you must have deserved. Freedom comes with accepting that sometimes there is no reason, no grand plan, no cosmic justice system keeping score. Things happen, and then we decide what to do next. That's all there is. That's all there ever was. Every minute spent asking, why me, is a minute you could spend asking, what now? Every moment wasted looking for reasons is a moment you could use to build something new from the wreckage. They lit the fire without reason or rhyme, without justice or purpose. And you? You walked through those flames not because you deserved them, not because you earned them, but because that's what they put in your path. The meaning wasn't in why it happened. It was in what you chose to do when it did. Sweet lies taste better than bitter truths. That's what most people think. We spend our days building comfortable stories around uncomfortable facts. Your friend tells you they're fine when their world is falling apart. Your coworker blames everyone else for their mistakes. That stranger in the mirror keeps making excuses for staying in a job they hate. Everyone's looking for the answer they want to hear, the story that hurts the least. But those comfortable lies are like painkillers. They might make you feel better for a while, but they don't fix what's broken. Between what we want to believe and what's actually true, there's usually an ocean of difference. Take a moment and think about the last time someone gave you honest feedback. Did you listen? Really listen? Or did you do what most people do? Smile on the outside while your mind raced to find reasons why they were wrong. It's funny how we ask for truth, but prepare for comfort. How we say we want answers, but really just want confirmation of what we already believe. Inside every mind, there's a courtroom where we're always innocent. We're really good at finding evidence that makes us look good and throwing out anything that doesn't fit our story. They're just jealous, we tell ourselves when someone criticizes us. It wasn't my fault, we whisper when things go wrong. I'll start tomorrow, we promise about changes we never make. These stories feel safe, like warm blankets on a cold night. But they're also cages, keeping us trapped in patterns that hurt us. Reality hits different when you stop sugarcoating it. That relationship isn't complicated, it's toxic. You're not taking a break from your dreams. You're giving up. That friend isn't going through a phase. They're spiraling and need help. The truth might not be what you want to hear, but it's always what you need to hear. Because you can't fix what you won't face, and you can't heal what you won't acknowledge. The world hands us mirrors all the time, but we've gotten really good at looking away. Someone points out our mistakes. We call them haters. Life shows us consequences. We blame bad luck. The scale gives us numbers we don't like. Must be broken. It's almost funny how creative we get with our excuses, how much energy we spend avoiding the simple truth. All that time we waste running from reality could be spent changing it. Sharp words from honest tongues leave marks that fake praise never will. When someone cares enough to tell you the truth, the real truth, not the decorated version, they're handing you gold. But most people throw this gold away, searching instead for fool's gold that shines prettier. They'd rather hear you're perfect just the way you are than here's how you could grow. They prefer it's not your fault to here's what you could have done differently. Comfort over growth, every single time. Your brain is like a full-time lawyer, always ready to defend your actions and explain away your mistakes. It will work overtime, trying to prove you're right, even when you're wrong. It will build entire castles of justification, complete with moats and drawbridges, just to protect you from a simple truth. But here's the thing about those mental castles. They might keep the truth out, but they also keep you trapped inside. Watch how people react when life tries to teach them something they don't want to learn. They'll plug their ears, close their eyes, and sing their favorite song of denial. Everyone else is wrong. Nobody understands. The world is against me. These comfortable lies become their lullabies, singing them to sleep while their dreams burn around them. But growth doesn't happen in your comfort zone, and healing doesn't start until you face what hurts. The hardest truths are like medicine. They taste terrible, but make you better. Most people want sugar pills instead. They want to be told that nothing is their fault, that they don't need to change, that the world should bend around their wishes. They want bedtime stories, not wake-up calls. They want bandages, not surgery. They want to feel better without having to be better. But real healing starts when you stop asking for what you want to hear and start listening to what you need to hear. Hungry eyes follow your every move, waiting to see what you'll do next. Everyone's got an opinion about your life, how you should live it, what you should want, who you should be. Your mother thinks you should have been a doctor. Your friends think you're wasting your time chasing dreams. That random person online thinks your art isn't good enough. And there you are, dancing this endless dance, trying to please everyone while slowly losing yourself. But what if you stopped? What if you just stopped caring about their approval and started listening to that quiet voice inside that knows what's right for you? Standing on your own 2 feet feels wobbly at first. Like a baby deer learning to walk, you'll stumble and fall. Some people will laugh. Others will try to help so much they'll end up holding you back. The hardest part isn't the falling. It's learning to trust yourself to get back up. Every time you make a decision without asking for everyone's opinion first, you get a little stronger. Every time you choose your own path instead of following someone else's map, your steps get a little surer. Simple truth hits harder than fancy lies. Doing your best is enough. Not your best compared to someone else. Not your best according to social media standards. Just your best, measured against yesterday's version of yourself. When you wake up each morning and know in your heart that you're giving it everything you've got, other people's judgments start to feel like background noise. Their approval or disapproval becomes as meaningless as clouds passing overhead. They might block the sun for a moment, but they can't stop it from shining. Something magical happens when you stop chasing approval. Real relationships start growing in the space where neediness used to live. You stop being friends with people just because they make you feel good about yourself. You stop dating people just because they tick boxes on some list society gave you. You start connecting with people because of who they are, not what they can give you. These relationships grow strong because they're built on solid ground, not the shifting sands of validation and approval. The need for revenge dies when you stop giving others the power to define your worth. Think about it. When was the last time you felt the urge to prove someone wrong? To show them what they missed out on? To make them regret not believing in you? That urge comes from letting their opinion matter too much. When you're truly focused on doing your best, you don't have time to plot revenge or seek pity. You're too busy growing, building, becoming. Beneath all the noise of should-dos and must-haves, your inner compass points true north. It's been there all along, whispering directions while you listen to everyone else's shouting. That compass doesn't care about likes or shares or what the neighbors think. It only cares about one thing. Are you being true to yourself? Are you doing your best with what you've got? Because at the end of the day, you have to live with your choices. Everyone else gets to go home, but you have to stay in your skin. Solid ground feels different under your feet. Once you stop trying to be what others want, your steps get lighter, your breath comes easier, your mind clears up like a sky after storm clouds pass. The energy you used to spend wondering if you're good enough, if they like you, if you're measuring up, all that energy becomes yours again. You can spend it on actually living instead of just performing for an audience that's not even paying attention. Freedom tastes sweetest when it comes from inside. Not the kind of freedom that needs someone else's permission or approval. Not the kind that depends on likes and follows and thumbs up emojis. Real freedom grows from knowing that you're doing your absolute best with what you've got right now. Maybe that best isn't perfect. Maybe it isn't Instagram worthy. But it's real. It's yours. And it's enough. Through the quiet moments when doubt creeps in. Through the loud moments when criticism rains down. Through the lonely moments when it feels like no one understands. Keep going. Keep doing your best. Not for them. Not for the applause. Not for the validation. But because that's who you are. That's what you've chosen to be. Someone who gives their all. Who stays true to their course. Who builds rather than breaks. People aren't just people in your life. They're gardens where parts of you grow. That friend who always believes in you. They water your confidence until it blooms like spring flowers. The parent who never thinks you're good enough. They plant seeds of doubt that grow like weeds in your mind. Your partner who encourages you to try new things. They're helping your courage grow strong roots. Every single person who walks into your life brings their own special mix of sunlight and shade, nurture and neglect. Some help you grow tall, others keep you small, and the trick is learning to tell the difference. Somewhere in the quiet moments between hello and goodbye, relationships do their deepest work. Maybe it's that coworker who makes you doubt every decision, slowly chipping away at your confidence, like water wearing down a stone. Or that old friend who always reminds you of your strength, building you up, brick by brick, with their steady faith in you. Each conversation, each shared moment, each silent judgment, or warm encouragement, they're all leaving their mark, shaping you in ways you might not even notice until years later. Under the surface of every relationship, roots are growing. Some roots make you stronger, like that mentor who pushes you to be better while catching you when you fall. Other roots wrap around your dreams, like vines, slowly squeezing until they can barely breathe. Like that friend who always tells you to be realistic and stop dreaming so big. The scary part? Both types feel normal when you're in them. Both types feel like love. Both types feel like they're just trying to help. Moving through each day, you carry pieces of every relationship with you. That ex who said you'd never make it, their words might still whisper in your ear when you're about to take a risk. The teacher who believed in you when no one else did, their faith might still hold you up when you're ready to give up. These voices become part of your inner choir, either singing you to victory or dragging you into doubt. The choice of which voices to listen to, that's yours to make. Behind closed doors and in open spaces, every interaction leaves its mark. The partner who respects your boundaries teaches you self-worth. The friend who always takes but never gives teaches you about limits. The sibling who stands by you no matter what shows you unconditional love. The boss who never sees your worth teaches you to value yourself. Each relationship is a teacher, but not all lessons are worth learning. Some lessons need to be unlearned, like muscles that need to be retrained after healing wrong. Silent agreements shape every bond you form. Sometimes it's healthy, two people agreeing to support each other's growth, challenge each other's limits, celebrate each other's wins. Other times it's toxic, agreeing to stay stuck together, to enable each other's worst habits, to keep each other small and safe and unchanging. These agreements aren't written down, but they're as real as gravity. They pull you up or drag you down with invisible but unbreakable force. When they lit those fires around you, each relationship showed its true nature.